What's up everybody and welcome back to Osu News, the show where we talk about the most important Osu news that happened during the week. We've had a ton of stuff to talk about, from Vaxei returning to tournaments, Mrekk trolling the absolute hell out of two very popular Osu players, some drama regarding Umbre and a lot of other top players, and even something recently that Peppy announced with Osu Lazer, so stick around, you may want to watch this video. Also, if you want to support the content that I make, then be sure to just subscribe to my channel, that's all I'm asking for. Enough of me rambling, let's just get started with the video. So we all know Vaxei, the former #1 Osu player from the USA, who currently still has a streak of not losing a single tournament in his entire career. We don't count the thing with Maliszewski because that was a show match, not an actual tournament. Since his return this year, people were still wondering whether or not Vaxei will actually participate in any tournament. Even OWC was still a question, but literally yesterday we got the answer to all of our questions. After a month and a half, maybe even 2 months of not playing, Vaxei finally went online in Osu once again, and while people were spectating him, he did recently announce that he is participating in Mrekk's Grandmaster tournament. For those of you that don't know, Mrekk is currently hosting a tournament with a really big prize pool of $4,500. People were thinking that this was going to be free money for Maliszewski, but now that Vaxei is participating in this, he might have a pretty tough challenge. So what are your thoughts on this? Is Vaxei's tournament streak going to an end slowly but surely, or is he still going to win and continue his never-ending streak of tournament wins? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. But the next big thing we have to talk about regarding top players is something that recently Mrekk did to Akolibed and WhiteCat. So it was a normal day when Akolibed decided to snipe Mrekk on a certain map. If you're wondering what's the map is World Ender. He managed to snipe Mrekk on that map, and for jokes and stuff, Akolibed posted this on Twitter saying, "Mrekk, get fucked." Mrekk later replied with, "Oh boy, you've done a grand mistake," in which later Akolibed replied with choking emojis. And after that reply from Mrekk, let's just say that Akolibed got completely destroyed brutally by Mrekk in the most insane way ever. Mrekk decided to snipe most of Akolibed's #1 places on certain maps. He quote retweeted the original Akolibed tweet and said, "I mean, hey, I did warn him." Later on, Akolibed responded to this saying that he really doesn't care because he didn't manage to snipe his encounter score. But the most insane part about this is that Mrekk managed to snipe 18 of Akolibed's first place scores, which is literally 14% of all his #1 scores. He legit did this as a joke, not to mention he previously did the same exact thing to WhiteCat as well. Yes, you heard me right, WhiteCat suffered the exact same fate that Akolibed suffered but earlier before him. I think this picture right here represents the entire situation that happened, but so far we have 3 victims from Mrekk's sniping, which is Akolibed, Lifeline, and now WhiteCat as well. But speaking of German players, we have drama to explain that revolves around the German player Umbre and a lot of other top players. Be sure to put on your seatbelts because this is going to be a long one. So it all started when a map by the name of Slider recently got ranked, and I couldn't find it anywhere, but apparently people were complaining about the fact that the top difficulty of this map had like 30 plus 700 PP plays within the first 24 hours of the map being ranked. Because of that, Umbre decided to go on Twitter and tweet this: "People complaining about the new stream map already having so many 700s, like this doesn't happen all the time with DT maps and even higher PP values." This tweet was met with a lot of mixed responses. Some people were agreeing with him, and there were a lot of people that didn't agree with Umbre, believe it or not. Raj even quote retweeted this tweet saying, "Does this look like a 700 PP map to you if seeing the hard part of the map?" Someone by the name of Naivo also quote retweeted Umbre saying this, right, and the only DT maps this happens on are the exact same map sets where Flame is abused to death. This hasn't happened on any A map, DT or not, in a few years by now. Neither do they get ranked nor give any meaningful PP anymore. Player by the name of Ariox replied to this saying, "Umbre, so are the DT A maps that get 3700s on them within a day in the room with us right now?" In which Umbre replied with, "Take a look at your top plays, you may find them there." Taranado quickly saved us the time to search up his top plays and just showed us a screenshot of his top plays. Raj Code retweeted this saying, "Umbre could never hit a div spike on any Arox top play 3 times in a row. Floim is boring as fuck and everybody knows it." Umbre decided to respond to the hate by saying this: "This game's community is so incredibly toxic, holy. You can't say one thing without people twisting it. I tried making a point that all skill sets should be respected equally, and instead of people welcoming that, you just get shit on even more. You guys are so sad. Then another top player decides to join the already heated debate by the name of Peppy Gaming, deciding to quote retweet Umbre's tweet by saying this: "That was literally the opposite of what you said, mate. Stop trying to seem like the good guy when the flow aim farm maps are getting to your brain." Umbre responded with, "Prove to me that that's the opposite of what I said. Do it. I never defended the new map's PP value. I never said that I agree with it. I just said that farm maps like this have been getting ranked for both skill sets for a long time, so why are people getting mad about it like this?" Epic Gaming followed up with, "You literally got defensive and started calling out Aarox for having aim map top plays. I think you deserve what happened to you because you're trying to play the victim card after being toxic even though no one was toxic to you prior. Thanks." Umbre later on responded with, "Aarox started by calling me dumb and wrong after I said it has been happening for a while and I point out his top plays to prove my point? What? How are you so blind to ignore what happened before?" Epic Gaming followed up with, "Maybe you wouldn't have been cooked by the community if you weren't so defensive about being a flow aim player. Maybe you would have gone with a different approach and talked to him a different way instead of just flaming his top plays when you can't even play his skill set." Umbre later responded with, "I didn't flame his top plays, lol, you just took it that way. People just love putting things in your mouth, huh? Talk about a great community right here, top player too." In which Epic Gaming decides to end it off with, "You're so butthurt, mate. You started blocking other people who said anything remotely bad about you. Maybe you should just private your Twitter and reflect the shit that you did, mate." Later on, Epic Gaming confirms that he got blocked by Umbre, and Umbre said that he will stop with responding to people. A few days later, after the entire incident and debate, Rudge did indeed apologize to Umbre and now they're cool. And also, Aarox got suspended on Twitter. It might have been because of his overall behavior on Twitter, but it also might have been because of this debate. Also, I don't know if this is real or not, but apparently Rudge was also suspended on Twitter as well, but he got his account back. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire drama explained in one video. And TLDR, it's pretty much just flow aim players arguing against DT aim players. Do you think that this was a necessary debate? Do you think that it might have been way too toxic? Let me know down in the comments. But our next story is pretty interesting. So recently, the official channel of Osu posted a video called Path to Lazer Ranked Play. And in that video, right at the start of the video, Peppy announced that at the moment they're focusing on adding ranked play into Lazer. And if everything goes well and as planned, then we might see a release of Osu Lazer by the end of the year. They also added a new mod in Osu Lazer called Classic, which is pretty much like Osu Stable with like note luck, how the original score system worked and so on. So yeah, we might see some really interesting stuff to Lazer pretty soon. There was also something really weird that happened recently with Peppy and the team. So a few weeks ago, Peppy announced Completionist badges for the people that completed Osu in each game mode. And literally the next day after this got announced, a player by the name of Edgar Figaro managed to become the first ever catch the beat Completionist. And you would expect that he would get some kind of title reward, maybe even the badge that was presented. But a few days after he managed to become the first ever catch the beat Completionist, Peppy made this response: "There has been a recent misunderstanding. Completionist and similar badges are awarded by the Osu team at their own accord as seen fit. There are no solid requirements. As such, we can't help with requests for clarification or requests to receive the badge. Of note, there's also no guarantee this badge will be given out in the future. It's awarded a per case basis. Thanks for understanding." And with this, Peppy pretty much says that there is no guarantee that you would get the Completionist badge even though you've completed Osu. As of me recording this video, Edgar Figaro so far has not gotten the reward for being the first ever catch the beat Completionist, and we still don't know if he will ever get a reward for it. Now, there's still a bunch of news that I have to talk about since I missed a lot in the past few weeks, so listen closely, there's a lot of important things to talk about. A player by the name of Jali0133 recently made a Twitter post with random letters. People were thinking that he might come back to Osu, but unfortunately there has still been no activity from him since then. The player by the name of Riven, who mapped Yomiuri and Engriefer, suddenly had his profile disappeared. People were thinking that he might have gotten restricted for cheating or something else, but turns out he is one of those rare cases where he requested for his account to be deleted, the same way that Adam QS did. Wally has reached #1 total score, overtaking Silver 5 after a pretty long time. A player by the name of Kevin3333G became the first player to hit 8,000 hours of playtime in a single game mode, making him the player with the most amount of time spent on a single game mode. Sytho has reached top 20. A TikToker by the name of Bleachy, who is the second most famous TikToker, has been restricted on Osu. Peter Family Guy, known as Eterna, recently reverted his username back to Eterna. Yuchi aka Myoka has made an incredible achievement of being the first ever player to set 1000 PP in 4K Osu Mania, which is a big accomplishment, so I just wanted to say congratulations to Myoka. The player by the name of Butanik is the first ever player to manage to set a 1000 PP play in 9K and 8K in Osu Mania. After 3 years of being restricted, the infamous cheater by the name of Haida Note has been unrestricted in Osu. To be able to reach 3-digit in Osu, you now need a minimum of 20k PP. Karthy is no longer 2-digit, and the bounty for the first ever FC on Engriefer is now $1,300. If I somehow managed to miss anything, then be sure to let me know down in the comments, because there was a lot of stuff to talk about in this video. And also be sure to check out the documentary I made on Nineric recently. It was a pretty interesting video to make, so please show it some support. Anyways, I've been your host Stu. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated with the latest news, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.